Well, good afternoon, class. Today is Friday the 13th, and this is module number 8 over chapter 8. As you may or may not know, we have only 2 more weeks of the class after today. And then I guess you have 3 weeks of summer, and then if you're taking class in the fall, then we start up classes again. On Tuesday, I posted an emotion assignment. I wanted to talk about some emotions related to music. So take a look at that if you haven't already. That'll be due next Tuesday at 11:59 p.m. Also, I posted a discussion we're talking about this week about dissolution of personal relationships, and I posted a video about a poor dog named Sammy who is being put in the middle of a breakup, and so I wanted to talk about some dissolution of personal relationships issues that you've had. We've all had them, and they all don't go very well. So take a look at that. There's already a few people posting the discussion. I posted that on Wednesday, so take a look at that and post something responding to either starting a new issue within that or responding to some other people. So, all right, let's talk about the PowerPoints for this week. As I mentioned, this is chapter number 8, Communication Climate, the Foundation of Personal Relationships. A lot of this section talks about workplace relationships. So, communication climate is the overall feeling of emotional mood between people, warm or cold, safe or anxious, blah, 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 so on and so forth, that is shaped by verbal and nonverbal interaction. So basically, it's the overall essence of what's going on, closeness, distance, that sort of thing. So, a couple features of satisfying personal relations. There's investment, which is both people invest something into a relationship. Then there's a certain level of commitment. Now, it depends on how, you have different levels of commitment. You have, friendships, you have work friends, you have best friends, you have intimate partners, intimate relationships, family relationships, and there's a different level of commitment in all of those. But they all have a certain level of commitment, and there's a certain level of trust. And a lot of the times when personal relationships end, there's a lack of trust afterwards. So anyway, so that's that. Those are the features, and then there's comfort and relational dialectics, which we'll talk about here shortly. In relational dialectics are two opposing issues that they seem opposing, but they're both elements of whatever issue. So, and then with the first example, autonomy versus connection, you always have a certain level of independence from others, but you also have a certain level of connection. I mean, if you're hanging out with someone all the time, then eventually you'll get bored with them. But if you never see them, obviously you won't be friends. Knowledge versus predictability. What's new in the relationship? If you always go bowling every Wednesday, then it's going to get boring eventually. But if you can't predict whether they're going to show up whenever you say, hey, let's go out to Applebee's or whatever, that's no good. And openness and closeness. And so that just deals with how open and closed, how much you share with them. So I right now, usually in the face-to-face class, I'll talk about some ways that you deal with this with your friends. So maybe think about that at this point. One of the things is negotiating this. I mean, this is a bit like the assignment for this week is going to be about workplace. There's definitely you want to build personal relationship with the people you work with, but at the same time you need some separation, that sort of thing. So those are kind of the tensions you deal with. And then I had kind of I brought up the Johari window again. What types of information do you know about with your friends compared with what they know, compared with what you both know or don't know? Kind of think about that a little bit. All right, so there's levels of confirmation and disconfirmation. So first level is recognizing that somebody exists. So, there's people at my workplace that I've never talked to before, and I don't really deal with. So, I mean, I guess I recognize they exist, but I don't really deal with them. And then there's kind of, and then there's people that I know exist and deal with them, but then I don't really deal with, their personality as much. And then there's kind of dealing with other people and their personalities. So there's different levels of confirmation, disconfirmation. And the next slide talks about some messages that are both confirming and disconfirming, if you want to take a look at that. So you have defensiveness and supportive climates, and there's a couple of different ones. Usually at this point I watch a video, and the video is from one of the best office movies of all time, which is